She was the most beautiful girl in the village, but her beauty became her curse. One night of pleasure turned her world into pain, and what she lost could never be replaced. This is the story of Chisem, the girl whose beauty brought her to the edge of destruction. In the small, quiet village of Umokoro, there lived a girl whose beauty made even married men forget their vows. Her name was Chisem, and people often whispered that she was born from the moon itself, too beautiful for a poor girl. Her skin glowed like ripe palm fruit in the sun, and her smile could make even the angriest man weak. But behind that beauty was a life that many pitied, and many others feared. Chisem's parents were poor farmers. Her father, Papa Chaik, was old and tired, and her mother, Mama Chaik, sold firewood just to feed them. Every morning, while other girls went to the stream or farm, Chisem would sit by the roadside, rubbing coconut oil on her skin and singing softly. "Chisem, come and help me at the farm," her mother would plead. "Mama, farming is for people without dreams," she'd reply, twisting her waist proudly. "Do you want me to spoil this my fine skin under the sun?" Her mother would sigh and walk away. But deep down, her heart broke a little more every day. At night, when the moon was bright, Chisem would sneak out of the hut. She would wear her mother's wrapper, tie it tightly around her waist, and walk barefoot to the houses of men who couldn't resist her. Some were young hunters, others were married men, and a few were rich traders who came from the nearby town. They all promised her things: money, jewelry, new clothes, and she gave them what they wanted in return. Soon, everyone in the village knew her name. Some called her the curse of Umokoro. Others called her the beauty that destroys homes. Still, Chisem didn't care. She liked the attention, she liked the feeling of power, how men's voices trembled when she smiled, how women looked at her with hate and fear, but trouble was already waiting for her. One night, Chisem sneaked into the compound of Chief Odenigbo, the richest man in Umokoro. He was old, powerful, and dangerous. His wife had died years ago, and people said his compound was cursed. That no woman ever entered and came out the same, yet Chisem, driven by greed and curiosity, went anyway. When she entered, the air was cold and heavy. The moon disappeared behind the clouds. Chief Odenigbo smiled when he saw her, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. "Oh, Chisem, the flower of Umokoro," he said softly. "Do you know what happens to flowers that open for every hand?" Chisem laughed nervously. "Chief, stop joking. I came to make you happy." But Chief Odenigbo's eyes turned dark. "No," he said slowly. "You came to make a mistake." He walked closer, his footsteps heavy on the ground. The smell of burning candles filled the air, and just as Chisem turned to run, she saw something, a mirror on the wall, reflecting her face. But in the mirror, her reflection was smiling wickedly back at her. Then, a deep voice echoed in her head, "Your beauty will be your punishment." Chisem screamed, but the night swallowed her voice. Chisem froze where she stood. The air in Chief Odenigbo's compound was so cold that her skin rose in goosebumps. The candles burned with blue flames, and the chief's shadow stretched across the walls like a dark spirit. "Chief, please, I didn't mean to offend you," she whispered, her voice shaking, but the old man only smiled. "Oh, Chisem," he said, "beauty like yours doesn't come without a price. You have been trading your body for money, now it is time to pay your own price." Her legs trembled. She tried to run, but her body wouldn't move. It was as if the ground had tied her feet with invisible ropes. Chief Odenigbo raised his hand slowly and touched her forehead with his wrinkled fingers. The moment he did, her eyes burned, and she saw flashes of light, men's faces, lies, laughter, and all the nights she thought she was winning. "You think you've been collecting from them," the chief said in a low voice, "but they have been taking from you, bit by bit, your joy, your peace, your destiny." Tears ran down her face. "Chief, please, forgive me. I'll change. I swear." The old man sighed deeply. "I will not kill you, Chisem," he said finally. But I will take what is more precious than gold, something no one can ever give you back. He brought out a small black calabash from under his chair. It was covered in strange white marks and smelled of palm wine and ashes. He began to whisper into it, words Chisholm didn't understand. Suddenly, she felt a hot wind rise around her, blowing her hair in circles. Her ears rang, her heart pounded, and then, she screamed. It felt as if something inside her was being pulled out, something deep and invisible. Her body shook until she fell to the ground. When it stopped, she lay still, breathing heavily. Chief Odenigbo looked down at her with sad eyes. "It is done," he said. "You will live, Chisholm, but you will never be the same again. From today, every man who touches you will take something from you. You will be beautiful, yes, but empty inside." He turned and walked away, leaving her on the cold floor. Chisholm crawled out of the compound in the dark, weak and shaking. The once confident girl who used to walk proudly through Umokoro now moved like a ghost. When she reached home, her mother was waiting outside with a lantern. "Chisholm, where have you been?" she shouted, but when she saw her daughter's eyes, dark, cold, and distant, her voice broke. "Mama," Chisholm whispered. "Something has been taken from me." Her mother tried to hold her, but Chisholm's body felt strangely cold, lifeless, as if her soul was missing. That night, Chisholm couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the chief's face. And that cursed mirror. The next morning, when she woke up, she noticed something horrifying. Her reflection in the mirror no longer moved when she did. The morning sun rose slowly over Umokoro, spreading its golden light across the small mud houses. The birds sang as usual, but for Chisholm, the world felt different. Colder, darker, and full of whispers only she could hear. Her mother stood by the door, watching her daughter in silence. "Chisholm," she said gently, "since you came back last night, you've not spoken a word. What happened? Who did this to you?" Chisholm forced a weak smile. "Nothing, Mama. I had a bad dream." Her mother frowned. "Dream? You think I don't know when my own child is hiding something?" Her father, old and tired, came out from behind the house. "Chisholm," he said in his low voice, "I may not have much, but you are all I have. Tell us what's wrong." But Chisholm only shook her head. "Papa, please. Just leave me alone. I'm fine." She stood up quickly and walked away, pretending to fetch water from the stream. Her parents watched her go, worry written all over their faces. At the stream, Chisholm knelt beside the water. She tried to look at her reflection, but the image in the water didn't smile back. It just stared at her blankly, with eyes that didn't belong to her anymore. She splashed the water angrily and whispered, "Leave me alone." A young man named Emeka, one of the village hunters, saw her and came closer. "Chisholm, are you okay? You look different." She turned quickly and forced a laugh. "I'm fine, Emeka. Just tired." Emeka smiled shyly. "You know I've always liked you," he said. "Maybe you should let me take care of you. You don't have to keep struggling." For a moment, Chisholm felt a spark of hope. Maybe life could go back to normal. Maybe Chief Odenigbo's curse was just her imagination. That evening, when Emeka walked her home, he held her hand. But as soon as his fingers touched her skin, he shivered. "Your hand. It's so cold," he said. Chisholm laughed nervously. "Maybe it's just the night breeze." But when she got home and looked in the mirror again, her reflection moved this time, but it was smiling wickedly. "Go ahead," the reflection whispered, though her lips didn't move. "Touch more men. See what happens." Chisholm stumbled back in fear. "No. Leave me alone." Her mother rushed into the room. "Chisholm, who are you shouting at?" "Nobody, Mama," she lied, breathing heavily. "It's nothing." Her mother stared at her for a long time. "My daughter," she said softly, I don't know what spirit you've touched, but you need prayers. That night, Chisholm lay awake, her heart pounding. She wanted to tell her parents the truth, but how could she explain that her reflection was alive? That Chief Odenigbo had taken something from her she could never get back. Instead, she decided to keep pretending, to smile in public, to act normal. But deep down, she knew the curse had already begun to grow. The next morning, news spread through the village like wildfire. Emeka, the hunter, was found unconscious near the stream, his body cold, his face pale, his voice gone, and when the villagers gathered around, one woman whispered, he was last seen with Chisholm. When the news of Emeka's condition spread through Umokoro, the villagers began to fear Chisholm. Some said she was possessed, others said she had made a deal with evil spirits. Everywhere she went, people whispered and pointed. Mothers pulled their children away when she passed. Even the wind seemed to carry her shame. One night, unable to bear it anymore, Chisholm ran home crying. Her mother and father were sitting quietly by the fire when she knelt before them. "Mama. Papa," she sobbed. "I have to tell you everything." Her parents looked at each other, their hearts heavy with worry. "Speak, my daughter," her father said softly. "Whatever it is, we will face it together." Through tears, Chisholm told them everything, how she had gone to Chief Odenigbo's house, how he had cursed her, and how strange things began to happen afterward. When she finished, her mother covered her mouth in shock. Her father sighed deeply, tears filling his eyes. "Oh, Chisholm," her mother cried, "why didn't you tell us before? Why did you walk into darkness alone?" "I was ashamed," Chisholm whispered. "I thought I could handle it. But I was wrong." Her father stood up slowly. "We must seek help. Not from men, but from God." The next morning, they sold their only goat and borrowed money from neighbors. They traveled to Asia, a distant town known for a powerful church where miracles often happened. The journey was long and tiring. When they finally arrived, they met Prophet Ezekiel, a humble man known for his prayers. He looked at Chisholm quietly, then said, "My daughter, beauty without wisdom leads to destruction. But mercy can rewrite your story." For 7 days, they fasted and prayed. Chisholm cried and begged God for forgiveness. Each night, she dreamed of the chief's mare breaking into pieces, and her reflection fading away into light. On the 7th day, as the prophet laid his hand on her head, Chisholm screamed, a loud, painful cry that shook the whole room. Something dark left her body, and suddenly, she fell silent. When she opened her eyes, she felt light, free, warm. Her mother hugged her tightly, crying tears of joy. "My daughter, you are free." When they returned to Umokoro, the villagers were surprised to see Chisholm glowing again, not with the beauty of pride, but the beauty of peace. She went from house to house, asking for forgiveness from those she had hurt. She began helping her mother at the market, and soon, people started to respect her again. The once proud, lazy girl became humble, hardworking, and kind. Even Chief Odenigbo's compound later burned down in a mysterious fire, a sign, the villagers said, that his wicked powers had finally been destroyed. Years later, Chisholm became a counselor for young girls, warning them not to trade their worth for temporary riches, and whenever anyone asked about her past, she smiled and said, "I was once lost in darkness, but grace found me." The end. Moral lesson: true beauty is not in your face or your body, it's in your heart, your character, and your choices. When a girl uses her beauty to deceive or gain quick riches, she loses something far greater than money. She loses her peace, her dignity, and her destiny. No matter how poor or hopeless life may seem, hard work and patience will take you farther than shortcuts ever can. Let Chisholm's story remind every young girl that your body is not your power, your wisdom is. Thank you so much for watching this story to the end. Your love, your likes, your comments, and your shares mean the world to me. Every time you watch, you give life to these stories and help our community grow. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and join me again for another powerful story that will touch your heart. I love you all and thank you for always supporting me.